Hey Lou, how are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you.
Good. So I'm really happy that you reached out and that we got introduced. I just wanted to ask, what made you want to reach out in the first place?
Because I know that I've been at a rock bottom point and I'd like to help as many people to be able to speak about their difficulties and be able to move on as well.
And so that's kind of why you want to tell your story then today.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should all use each other's stories to make us stronger together.
No, awesome. I couldn't agree any more with you. Well, then, the floor is over to you and tell us all about your story and your journey.
So I got diagnosed with anorexia nearly 9 years ago, but I had been struggling with my eating for a long time before that. I felt so mentally low that I turned to food because when I didn't eat, it made me feel numb. I felt nothing. I didn't want to feel anything because when I did feel it was so horrible. And I wanted to be invisible because if people didn't see me, they couldn't hurt me. I felt safe. So things got pretty bad and I ended up in hospital. I had to be tube fed and restrained. But I am now, having been to hospital, have had therapy. I am now at the other side. I'm living independently. I'm able to eat, to drink, to go out and to live life. Don't get me wrong, I still have my struggles, but my quality of life is so much better than when I first went into hospital.
So obviously, just want to touch base on why you obviously were in hospital.
So I was in hospital because I had got to a physically very dangerous point. My weight was extremely low, and also on the mental side, like I wasn't able to make the right decisions. I thought that food was evil and bad, and I totally didn't deserve it. And the doctor said that if I continued, I wouldn't be alive today.
Yeah, no, it's interesting the relationship that a lot of people have with food these days, and kind of where it takes people. Can you recall why you felt invisible?
So I never felt invisible, but I wanted to feel invisible. So in my head, the smaller I was, the more invisible I was. And then, yeah, people wouldn't see me, people wouldn't hurt me. I'd be protected, I'd be safe. I kind of felt invincible when I wasn't eating, like no one could hurt me. And I wanted that safety. Yeah, it wasn't in the right way. And I've learned that now. But at the time, that just was the most logical thing for me.
And then where was your turning point, would you say? When was the moment? Obviously you were in hospital, but where do you feel as yourself was your turning point to realize the situation of what was happening?
So when I was with therapists, really realizing how much my illness had stolen from me and that I wasn't able to do anything that I'd worked for, that I enjoyed, couldn't enjoy spending time with my mum or family or anyone. Like it completely isolated me. And having that realization that actually I myself have ruined my quality of life, I was like, well, I need to change this. And from that point in therapy, I started working with them rather than against them.
Yeah, because therapy is a hit and miss, I'd say, because I believe, well, what I mean by hit and miss is that some people believe in it and some people don't. And that's kind of where I find that a lot of people have a stance. I've had mixed reviews on people that talk about therapy. Kind of what would you say if somebody was going through something, would you recommend therapy and why?
I definitely would recommend therapy. However, I think finding the right therapist is really important. I've had so many therapists throughout my years of being unwell, and not all of them like therapeutically match. And like not everyone has the right style. Like for me, I need a gentler, nicer approach, whereas some people kind of need like the harsh truths of reality, and that just totally switches me off. But I think it's a space to talk and to recognize that actually you're feelings are completely valid and that you're not alone and it's also sometimes easier to speak to someone who's not your family, who's not your friends, who are completely impartial to that.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is a lot of people, when they're going through anything, they don't necessarily want to speak to, well, when they realize that they're not speaking out, it's because they don't really want to speak to their nearest and dearest and their loved ones. So when a therapist gets involved, sometimes it can be easier to speak to somebody that's kind of an outsider to the situation.
Definitely.
No, of course. So obviously, with regards to your mental health, you said that it got to a pretty dark place. How did it really make you feel?
I felt awful. I hated the feeling of waking up every morning, realizing there was another day to go. I wasn't able to function at all. Like when I was awake, I was crying, I was having panic attacks. I just couldn't do anything. So it was quite debilitating.
And it's been a 7 year process for you, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I've been diagnosed for 9 years, but 7 years of like real difficulty.
Yeah, no, of course. And you said that you've kind of turned a new leaf now. So how would you feel today when you wake up in the morning?
So don't get me wrong, things aren't perfect. I have my bad days like everyone else does, but I choose to eat, I choose to keep going, I choose the right things. And so I can enjoy things, like I'm enjoying hobbies that I didn't know or remembered I had. Just, that day to day, not feeling like it's a chore to wake up. I'm just living my life. But there are bad days, there are good days.
No, of course. And I think that's the summary of everything, is there are always good days and bad days. And it'd be a lie to say that every day from here on now for everyone in general is going to be good, because I guess that's living, isn't it? There's good days and bad days. It's the roller coaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good to hear that that's where you are when you wake up now.
Yeah.
What are the hobbies that you've recently discovered then that you didn't before?
So it was a hobby when I was a child and growing up, but since being unwell, I didn't have time for it or want to do anything for enjoyment. But cross stitch and embroidery is something I really enjoy, and because it's quite like you have to concentrate, it's quite like mindful and relaxing to do.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I love the sound of that. I'm
totally immersed and like fully like in the moment, rather than thinking of what all the bad things going around my head. So it's really nice to connect.
Yeah, that's definitely it. It's finding the right hobby, whether it's something artistic, even if it's music or sport or anything which kind of takes you away, not takes you away, but puts you completely in the present moment. That's the correct way to say it. Completely puts you in the present moment, and you're able to put all your mind and focus onto that one hobby or activity.
Definitely. I've gained hobbies, and it's just enjoyment in your day-to-day life that when I was so mentally unwell, I couldn't do that.
Yeah. It's almost like finding the small things.
Definitely.
Yeah. So you're going to be, we'll see all your cross stitching you'll be selling it soon, right?
I don't think so. Might be.
Okay, maybe not that far. Never say never. Well, thank you for this. Have you got any advice to anybody that's going through, I guess, a similar situation to yourself? Or, every story is different, but everyone relates in a different way. So, kind of to anybody that's going through a tough time.
To reach out, to realize that it's normal to feel difficult. You're not the only one in the world. You're not alone. And just to accept help, like don't push it away, because I think that was my biggest downfall, was pushing away help, because I thought I could do it all by myself. But as soon as I started letting people in, that's when things turned around.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's kind of the acceptance of you know, first of all, you're not alone. And second of all, it is okay to ask for help. And kind of once you do start to ask for help, whatever the help is, as soon as you ask for help, it's like the barriers open, and things can really start to get better.
Yeah, definitely. It's like they say a problem shared is a problem halved. Like once you have reached out, it's not all on you. And actually, people can help you rationalize your thoughts and be like, actually, this isn't the end of the world. This is just a blip in the way things of life. So it puts it into perspective when other people see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I like the problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Lou. I have really, really enjoyed talking to you today and getting to know you. And like I said, I'm really happy that you reached out to us.
Thank you.